Welcome to episode 13 of Live Life by Design. I'm your host, Nicole Mantilla-Parato, and this week I want to talk about quantum leaps, collapsing timelines, and making choices, because we're at those choice points where your whole life can go on a whole new trajectory. It's happening really fast right now. It might seem like you're collapsing one timeline and then it's like 2 days later you're collapsing another timeline. And I want to share some stories around this. Okay? Like one of my biggest quantum leaps that happened from making a choice. And I want to support those of you that are in this place right now where you're like one foot in one realm, another foot somewhere else. You're kind of dancing there and you know you just need that little push to get you over to the other side. I want to also touch on that there is a lot of health issues that are coming to the service, and we're going to see more souls transitioning with disease or natural causes. I lost my stepbrother this week, so I want to just devote all of this to Max Mafucci. May you hear this. May all the love ripple out far and wide. There's so much circulating in the air right now. Emotions are high. And when I mean emotions are high, that's also excitement. It's not just, the death, there's rebirth, there's new life forming, there's stuff to celebrate. Because there is a wave of people that are like just exiting that death portal and they're rebirthing and they're reaping the prosperity, the wealth, and the benefits. And then there's also those of you that are still in it, because you're being called to leap, to break the patterns that are chaining you and keeping you stuck. And when you take that leap, you are going to be so supported. So how many of you are hearing the call to make a big, big change? Go ahead and put it in the comments. Because I want to use this podcast to help you commit to a new lifestyle change. One where you're really saying goodbye to those bad habits, the behaviors that keep you stuck, the choices that you keep making that are not allowing you to progress and expand and live a life where you feel fulfilled and free. So I want to share with you my quantum story, which was when I knew that I had to leave my job at the hospital. So for those of you who don't know, I was a clinical microbiologist for almost 20 years. And there were so many times that I thought about leaving this job, okay? It was heavy and taxing on my body. There was a heavy, dense energy working in the hospital with various types of personality that was so many learning lessons for me as a highly sensitive being. And so I wasn't the only one that was suffering from this. The whole team, everybody that was in our department was having so many issues on a physical, emotional, and mental level. People wanted out, but like everyone, you have bills to pay. You have a family to provide for. What else are you going to do? What are the other alternatives? And you're used to making a certain salary. And so my body was like really just, it was exhausted. absolutely exhausted from the stress of working in that environment. And then COVID came, and we were in charge of testing for COVID, packaging up, sending out the specimens, and I was training staff. I was working like double shifts, 3 to 4 days a week. We were all busting our butt in our department during that time. And that's when they were starting to put mandates. If you were going to stay at the hospital and work, you were going to have to get vaccinated. And so I had my feelings about that. But before I could even really process all of those feelings, my body was shutting down to the point where I had frozen shoulder, I had tons of neck pain. I couldn't even lift my arm. It was like, it went about this high. I couldn't dress myself. And I have to streak and use the plates as a microbiologist. I couldn't dress myself. I was in so much pain. I went to physical therapy. I went to an acupuncturist. I was doing everything, chiropractor, my sound healing, my tuning forks, all of it. And I wasn't getting the relief that I wanted. And I knew that I had to leave my job. But I was so scared and devastated to take that leap, to just let go and start all over. Now you have to understand, I'm remarried, but I made more money than my husband. So my income was way more substantial than what he was bringing in. So it wasn't like, if I leave, I can just fall back on my husband. Now, I also had other stories around this too, because once I got remarried, I did my financials completely different. Like, we didn't share anything. It was like no joint bank accounts or anything, because I worked so hard to have financial independence after leaving my first husband that I wanted to keep that. So, me leaving my job with having 2 kids, a house, a car payment, bills, all the things, right? A quality of life that I was used to and not wanting to give that up. This didn't really make sense to the logical mind. And it wasn't like I wanted to leave this job and go get another job. It was, no, I wanted to leave this job and pursue my life's purpose, which at the time was just sound healing, light language, energy healing, helping people transform and use their light language and come into their gifts. And I was only doing private sessions. I had no idea how to do mentorships or coaching, like long-term the way I do, or group coaching, webinars, any of that stuff. So this was quite the leap if I was going to make it. So I was out on short-term disability. And I remember, it was getting to the point where I was considering, can I go back? I was going to physical therapy. I was starting to be able to lift my arm again, but I wasn't feeling completely better in my body. And so I remember sitting there looking at my husband, crying, like, I cannot go back. I just can't. I couldn't even picture myself walking into the hospital. It was like a portal was closing, like that reality was closing. Like, I could not even see myself walking in. And it felt like a door just shut. It was like automatic, like, it's over. You can't go back. And I put in my notice. And that was the moment that changed my whole life, my whole trajectory. This was the journey of true healing, of true empowerment, and believing in myself and trusting in a higher power. Now, I was building my business on the side, little by little, right? Became a yoga teacher, sound healer, all those things. So after I left, my body was completely tapped out. Like, talk about going for years living on fight or flight. I needed so much rest, and nobody talks about this. Like, after you leave a relationship, after you leave a job, anything where you were so stressed, your body needs so much rest for healing. And so I gave myself permission to like literally just relax and ease into it and to love on my body and to like pause and get clear on what was next. And that's when everything started to open. And I started doing high ticket mentorship by the guidance of spirit. This is what you're going to put out. This is what you're going to do. Was there resistance? Oh my gosh, yes. I never asked for that kind of money before. I never held space in that capacity before. And so I did it. And the money started coming in. But just like I got burnt out, I did that for like a year and a half. And I got burnt out. I was taking on too much. I was over giving and trying to prove my value because I wasn't healed with my level of worth and truly owning my gifts and my worth. So I wasn't used to asking for money when it comes to my services in that way. And it was a whole learning curve. And so this is when I started to really invest in myself. And it opened up the doors for me to learn how to scale my business, because I was not going to be able to do this if I was just doing one-on-one mentorships, even if they were high ticket. Like, I wasn't going to reach the amount of people I wanted to serve. I wasn't living and sharing from my deepest desires and my deepest passions, which is to serve leaders. I'm a healer and a leader to next level leaders. And I wasn't owning that. And so my body wasn't feeling nourished because I wasn't owning the bigness of my mission. And so every time I'm invited to own my bigness and say yes to my expansion, I quantum leap to another timeline of infinite possibilities and success. And when I'm not learning my lessons, I struggle and I suffer. When I'm not showing up 100% in my relationships with compassion, patience, and kindness, I struggle. When I'm not trusting the financial flow and that I need rest and I'm trying to force and create when my body's like, no, girl, you are tapped out. The abundance doesn't flow until I let go and I lean back and I allow. When I'm trying to control and micromanage everything, it doesn't work. I'm invited to allow more flow to come in, to chill out and lay back. So I want you to think about where your quantum moment was in your life, where you made a choice that changed your whole trajectory. If I didn't leave my job, I wouldn't have the freedom to travel, to spend, I should say, invest the time I do with my children, to be available, and to create the financial abundance that I do. I want to just share that kind of success because I can now make in a month what I used to make in a salary for a year. For a year as a microbiologist. And I don't say that to just be like, oh, look at me. I say that because it is possible. It is possible for you when you believe, trust, and you do the inner work. The inner work is key. The inner healing is key. And so what I want to share is those of you who think all this spiritual stuff and vibrational medicine and frequency and sound and movement is just like a hobby to feel good, to just relax, to just bring in balance. It's so much more than that. This is ancient technology that when you go beyond just the de-stressing and the tuning into the magic in your body and the heart opening and the healing that wants to take place and the capacity for you to move more energy and hold more energy with intention, it is life-changing. If you use it wisely to disintegrate your blockages, your behaviors, your habits, the parts of your personality that you're being invited to evolve. It's so much deeper. So here I am sharing this with you and all these people that are on my podcast is that I took a chance on myself. I invested in myself because I believed that there was something more for me. And I was right. Was it hard? Absolutely. Absolutely. But is watching the journey from dark to light worth it? Oh my gosh. The journey makes it so much sweeter. The stories make it so much sweeter. My son's away at college and we moved him into his dorm. And I took him out for lunch yesterday and we were talking, we all do stuff, right? And he was kind of being hard on himself for his past and like feeling like some of those things are heavy and like he can't really shake it. Like it's branded as who he is. And maybe you feel that too, because I know I felt like that too. I carried a lot of shame when I first got divorced and I broke up my family, and there was a lot of guilt there, right? And so I was trying to tell him that now he's wiser and he's smarter and he can help others that are in similar situations that he's been in. And same thing with you and same thing with me. Everything I teach and I share and I mentor about is because I had to transcend so much to get where I am today. And so the darkness, the messiness that you have experienced, And then the rewards and the abundance that came from you moving through that, that's the sweet spot. And that's what needs to be shared. Just take all of that in. That's what needs to be shared. So will you allow yourself to hang out in the darkness if that's where you are right now? And literally admit to yourself that you need to make a change and expand. And go after what you want and commit and stay persistent. And follow that higher calling. Because when you follow that higher calling and you keep your energy clear and you get your mindset right and your energy right, you open yourself to realms of possibilities and spiritual gifts and creativity that you did not even know were possible. So I wanted to share this with you today in hopes that you can make a decision that will propel you forward, that will align you with your highest trajectory, because it's up to you. You're the only one that can make the change. You can do this. Your past does not define you. If your body is shutting down at a job or a relationship, it's time for you to go within and see. For me, I knew the door was shut. There was no going back. You get those moments when you wait for so long that it becomes so abrupt that it's like it closes on you. It's not even an option. That timeline collapses. You're no longer a vibrational match for it. And that's what happened. I was no longer a vibrational match. The door to even walking through the door of the hospital, it shut down. It was no longer aligned. My body physically would not be able to go there. And if this is happening for you, please trust and believe in yourself. Now, I have a 9-week program, Reclaim. It's a self-learning. You can take longer than 9 weeks. It's online. And it's so in-depth and life-transforming. It is the framework for New Earth leadership. It will heighten your emotional intelligence. You will learn how to work with energy and transmute it. You will learn how to listen to the symptoms and the signs that your body is eliciting. You'll learn about your liver and your pancreas and your kidneys and what kind of emotions are stored there, memories that you need to heal and shift with vibrational medicine so we can chisel it out. Chisel it out in a way where you don't have to go too deep into the story. It comes to the surface, you have an awareness, and we do things to shift it vibrationally. And this is for spiritually open women who are ready for somebody to activate them to the next level. So if you are a leader, a natural born leader, and you are spiritually gifted, this is going to take you to the next level. Definitely check it out. And you can look at my other programs My mentorships, I'm almost at full capacity right now for my long-term one-to-ones, but if you are interested, please do apply because I will put you on the wait list. And if I do have small windows of spaces and you don't need long-term mentorship and you're looking for some short-term support, then apply now. Apply now for that. It's such an honor to be here with you. I want to close this out today with just a little prayer. A prayer for you to know that you are supported in whatever choice that you choose. There is no right or wrong decision. But there are decisions that will expand you more. Either way, you're going to be protected and guided. Some paths are just more expansive than others. But what is meant for you will eventually find you. It's just if you want to bypass the bullshit and just get right on it. That's why making aligned choices gets you living that best life at a catalyzed rate. Instead of you just treading, oh God, it's another bump on my path, oh, another detour, another bump, another this and that. And you're kind of hitting all these roadblocks. You can navigate those roadblocks with more grace and not hit so many of them when you're aligned. I hope this serves you. Have a beautiful now. Mwah.